naar deel 1.
After part 1 of our interview, quite a lot has happened. It went viral worldwide. In the meantime, we have Spanish subs, Finnish, French. Italy did publish the video. It is really incredible. What happened to you afterwards?
Yes. I never experienced such in my life. It even did not come to my mind that this would happen. I was actually doing something very different when we did the interview, and perhaps it is good to mention this. I experienced a very heavy and intense life, until today, which has split into a first life and a second life, a real death. And I've actually decided for myself the last 2.5 years to do something with the trauma I have incurred. And there are quite a few, because I got stuck.
Again?
I got stuck in myself, yes. So, I've been lucky enough to embrace a specialist who was able to deal with trauma processing. And from there I made little steps which eventually led me to share with the audience. Just like we did.
Courageous.
That is a lot of processing. But it also has a lot to do with my new life, which has been running for some 22 years now. I started a positive life. I became a social entrepreneur, and I am very committed to life. And I saw, especially from the Netherlands. The Netherlands, as you might say, is quite a country of parochialism. And where often a culture is expanding from out of ignorance, but especially from out of fear. And I already saw it on forehand, because of the manifestations I am working on in my life, are becoming so big, worldwide, worn by humanity, that I already felt it. If I do not clear myself up inwardly, as well as outside myself, then unfortunately I know the Dutch people and their mentality too well. If something gets beautiful and becomes a success, it needs to be broken. That is apparently tradition in the Netherlands. There are only a few things that are praised in the Netherlands. Yes, if our soccer team wins a world championship, then we are all happy, and that is positive. But when it comes to essential things that are good for us, they often break you down. And I thought, if I get more clean inside and I become more and more strong through trauma processing, just like the manifestation outside myself, the moment will come that the Dutch will show their nasty tendency. We are going to destroy it. Then you better clean your own slate completely. Make everything clear where you come from. Then they cannot do anything with it anymore. Because after all, it is not about me. It is about the manifestation. Because once a manifestation has been realized, I am going to start something else. So, that is the way I started. To get rid of it from within, it gave me a lot of relief. It freed me enormously. It was really a kind of birth. I also found it very intense. I have to say, I have seen worldwide what has happened. In the meantime, I have heard that over 18 million people have watched the interview. Moreover, about part 2, I am not sure, but from part 1, which has been published before, more than 18 million. Part 2, who knows, some more, but perhaps the same. That was not just about me, but also about the current power structure here on Earth. The financial system, because people need to know about that. But I did not expect this to happen, I did not hope for this either. It was more something for myself and for what I am creating. Because I'm dealing with a lot of people around me. I have 5,000 people in some manifestation gathered around me, in 5 different countries. I bear a lot of responsibility for that, because I once started an initiative, started a manifestation. Perhaps later on we can go into that and what it is all about. But I thought, it is not going to happen that, because of the dark period in my past, they are going to break it down. Because trust is hard to gain but easy to lose in the Netherlands. All based on fear, but okay. People don't even know what they are talking about.
Where does that come from? Are you talking about the fact that this is something human, or is this a matter of conscious control of a higher power structure, that the good things will be destroyed?
I did. I think it was in part 1, and otherwise it was in part 2, but I did mention, and it seems almost a commercial, the protocols of Zion. The protocols of the wise elders of Zion. And I still believe that if people are going to read it, they will better understand what they are in. Yet I have received comments from people who have read it and they were overwhelmed. Really? Wow. We really live in a time what is written in there, while it is already an old document. So, more and more people begin to understand where all the reactions, also from us, come from. Because we are talking about a matrix. Once they produced a movie about it, it even became a trilogy, 3 parts. Then I think, wow, it is just a movie. But it shows as clear as possible where most people live in a kind of dream that is not real. And what if you are part of the dream and then I come up with a story like this, it really happened. I have to say, as far as I know, more than 95% or 96%, which is a rough estimate, is overwhelmingly positive. They are incredibly positive. Do you know that even for you people are praying, worldwide? That teams are formed to support you, to be able to continue your work.
Yes, that is beautiful.
It is incredible what has happened. On the other hand, we have also seen poison coming our way, the arsenic. The biological meal was the reaction, with a touch of arsenic in it to break it down. Most of the time it is an energetic mechanism, that sometimes works through them without even knowing. It works on their fear, because when I am speaking the truth, then it becomes a real possibility that the world and the reality they live in, their comfort, is going to shake.
Is breaking down, yes.
And that is scary because change is scary. So, you are already afraid and you got some more fears. Then it is far more easy. And they tried to do that to me in the meantime. To break me down, and trying to prove that I am a liar, a fantasist, and mention the whole range of what you can imagine. For not accepting the truth, because I am speaking the truth. This is the reason why I am married to a woman for more than 10 years. For this. I say what I say, I do what I do, and that is right. Because I have not so much to hide. I am hiding something about my old life. My first life. That is pure protection for myself but also for many others. But over the last 22 years that I came back and really became who I am. You can ask me anything.
Yes. Because that is the hardest part, what you are telling me now. You cannot talk about those things, out of protection of yourself and others.
Yes.
I understand that very well. But a lot of people are using that as an argument to say that you are a fantasist. That it is not true what you are saying and that you apparently have another agenda. How do you look at it and what can you say about it?
Yes, I get that very well. I mean, what they ask is, I know someone who said, give me a curriculum vitae. Yes. And I look at it and I think, boy oh boy, how can you ask such a thing? I mean, I cannot. First, I have no CV, I was always an entrepreneur. But how can I write a CV about my first life? That's self-employment. Also including cars, textile, the ladies' fashion line, in import and export. Those were the top players. Do you really think back then that I was a saint? Hello. I was just a top criminal, okay? How bad do you want me to tell myself that I was bad? Do I need to tell that I am a murderer, which I am not? I mean, what do they want me to tell about that? I cannot tell anything. And quite simple. Everything I say for the people who are still alive, I will draw them along with me. Actually, it comes down to over and out. And all of that because I need to prove that it is like it is. One can also look into worldwide investigations and testimonies that already exist, because I am not the first one. It is a lot worse. This is timeless. Once there was a rebel, he was a carpenter, he performed miracles here on earth. He told us who he was. He was the Son of the Highest Supreme. Yes, he did miracles and they still did not believe him. No, you know who he was? He came from the devil. He was a Satanist. Yes? How much more do people need to know to see what is going on here on earth? How much? How much? And I do understand what they are talking about. Of course, I can understand that. They cannot understand what I am talking about, because it is not part of their life. That is not possible. I mean, it is the same with the breaking point you asked for, which was very difficult for me. I was invited. Do you really think they say, hey Ronald, we have a party, come on, we are going to chop little children?
No, of course it does not work like that.
How can you think like that? Such is a very careful route, involving two of my colleagues who joined the inner circles, who invited me to also join the inner circle, because I should gain more strength, more power. That was a trust relationship that they have built up with me in the long run, and they thought I was ready for this. How could they know that this was a trigger for me? That was not the intention. So, it is nonsense to think that, just like on a normal Saturday evening when everybody is going out, that I ended up on a massacre with children. Those are just images people create, while for me the invitation, the truth about that, already gave me the shock I could not handle. And we are purely speaking about an inner circle, from a religion that is sick. And we all feel shocked about that. But then I have another example. Also about children. Because if we need to throw it all out there, because people stay where they are, that is the problem. The good people. It is not the bad people, there are only a few. Bad people do their thing, but it is the good people, worldwide, who do nothing. For a very long time, and I am a little angry with them.
Rightly so.
Because I was still in my youth. Between 15 and 20 years old. Via family, first line, I heard stories from nurses who were sent to India for a mission. For development assistance over there. Those people. I am trying to control myself. Those people were burnt out after 4 or 5 years, completely traumatized. Nurses back in the Netherlands, no one was allowed to know. But what was this all about? Children. Again. Every time, children. Organ trafficking. We just think it is normal for a baby to be saved. But where do these organs come from? And those children are still alive the moment they remove their organs. Those nurses could not cope with it anymore. India. I am not sure if this is still going on right now. World, stand up. Go find out. Organ trafficking. Children. No one is talking about that. No one is taking action. Those Satanists, fuck them. That is just a pathetic tiny little group. Organ trafficking, worldwide. The god Mammon. How much more shit do you need to get from me? I now hear stories, including lawsuits, in England, about the rape of young girls on a massive scale, and the culprits are acquitted. We do not protect our own children. What kind of a sick world is this? This is our future. And I can testify, start with damaging little children from early on and your world becomes even sicker. It is a license to a third world war and a total destruction of humanity, if we continue the way we do now with our youth, with our children. And then they say that I am a liar? A fantasist? Look around and wake up. You don't need me. You don't need me. Not at all. I might be so far, finally in my life, after all these therapies and processing, that I stand up for the children. Because I care for them. Very much.
And you were one yourself?
Yes.
You know how it is.
Yes. For 2 years they got me completely worn out. Back then I have had it with my dad. Then, through the Child Protection Board, I was placed in a sheltered home to protect me. Then I got so-called loving caregivers for 2 years. Yes. I even did not know what it was, sex. I did not even know. For 2 years long. Then you cry out for your daddy and your mommy, while you actually come out of hell. But rather hell than this. Yes? I know what is going on in this sick world, I've lived through it myself. Tell me I am a liar. Go and look in the mirror. Who is lying here? You. It is you. You don't want to see the world as it is. I promised to control my emotions today, to keep it nicely monotonous, as it should be, but I can't. I am who I am. And I am so committed to life, that is my mission. That became my mission, my life task. Good management of all life, that is my mission. For the children.
And you needed that trigger?
Yes.
That is why we are here.
I have nothing to do with all those people. I can understand them. But I will ask, please, look inside yourself. Why does it trigger you when you see me and hear me? And with all I have to say to you, what is going on within yourself? What is being touched? Why do you come in defense? Why are you in denial? Why do you need it from your mind, to burn me down? Because we are talking about that now. A small part considered it necessary. The mass does not, but a small part thinks it is necessary. What is it? What is this in yourself that you need to do this? Take a look at it, be honest with yourself. What is your agenda? Do you really want humanity to live in duality forever? Or do you want us to gather together? Because that is possible. I am already working on it. It is getting bigger and bigger. It is like a virus they cannot destroy. It is a virus of unconditional love. That is what we are spreading.
In which you do not have to prove who you are, but just being you.
I am who I am, and for fun I showed you my passport, so you can watch it. You can even go to special services to check out if it is false. But hello. I am just here and I stand.
You just said you have no CV, neither from your past. You made it very clear why that isn't how it is. But still, a number of questions have been raised, especially after the first interview. The questions we have received are, for example, when did Ronald work at the stock exchange, because it is nowhere to be found.
No. You cannot find much about my whole first life. Neither about my second life. I am not the type of guy being active on the internet just like the whole herd. Most people are careful with their privacy, but in the meantime, I see them sharing literally everything on the internet. The level I played on and where I come from. If you would like to investigate those circles, you actually will not find anything. We do not exist on the internet. Finally, for fun, because I was busy with a manifestation and it was needed to be found on the internet. Together with my partner, we established in 2008, the family Bly. And the funny part was, the thought behind it was, if you are going to become one family, like little companies, entrepreneurs, individuals, you unite in one family. Then you can organize a manifestation, like I used to do in the social society with each other, from, for, and through each other. If you became a member of the family, that was our thought. Then you got the opportunity to add the adoptive name Bly, behind your own name. So, I became a member and with me many more, because you're able to find them on the internet. They had the opportunity, if they like, for example like with me, Ronald Bernard, so that became Ronald B. Bly. So that is why I created an account with a pseudonym for the social media like Facebook and LinkedIn. To have an account, to be able to host the manifestations of importance, like new organizations. Because without a private account you are not allowed to do this. So, I was, except for a very small and lost article from another project, not to be found on the internet. My wife is also not to be found on the internet, and there are many in my circles not to be found on the internet, because we do not feel the need to share our privacy and a whole private life on the internet. That is our right.
Yes.
So, there's not much about us to find. On the other hand, that is the funny part, when you see the masses on the internet. Somebody signs up or whatever, through Facebook or I don't know what, to their children, everything and all, their birth date, what they are doing day by day, the name of the child, when it is born. You got everything to know from people through the internet. That is up to them.
Publicly owned.
What is it?
We are owned by the government.
Yes, but we are very cooperative, aren't we?
Indeed.
I mean, everybody is talking about their privacy, but they throw everything out in public, but we are not like that. And we don't do that. So, you cannot find a lot about us on the internet. But back to the CV, because a curriculum is quite a theme in the Netherlands, at least in some particular circles. I would like to repeat. I corresponded with some guy. I have indicated that I do not have a CV, because my whole life I was an entrepreneur, I never needed to apply for myself. The second thing I indicated is, I will never write a CV about my first life. That makes no sense at all, because everything I should write down, are indications of the deeper layers. Because everything I did, official companies, also had a substratum. Yes? A lot of things that could not stand the light of day were played out in those deeper layers. I did not just get in the financial world by coincidence. Perhaps I did not sufficiently explore this in the first part of the interview, but you did not just get a seat automatically on the stock exchange. It is not like this, oh, we have a seat for sale. It is quite naive to think like that. So, to avoid that from that period, because we are talking about a period from 1982, I have to dig deep. 1982 until the end of 1994. So, we are talking about 12 years, in which I was very busy and active in all forms as an entrepreneur with deeper layers that did not stand the light of day. There are many interests involved from a lot of people. I will never make it known. Besides, neither I cannot, for example, the people who tortured me. Do you really think that I can make a phone call? That is also impossible, but in case of, because we all need witnesses. Do you really think they say, yes, that's right, I did this and that to him? And do you really think that people who made exchanges with me to ruin other countries will say, yes, of course we did that. We liked to do that. No. That does not work like that. There is nobody in my circles who has the feeling or the need, if they are still alive anyway, to testify about that. I can tell you something else. When I crashed down, revived to life again, the crying mother, after that I came in several private clinics for more than a year to recover. They had to deal with a professional oath, the oath of secrecy. Finally, as they saw my internal injuries, just everything what was wrong, they began to wonder what had happened. Then, yes, it still is a difficult part. You have to experience it yourself to know. It is a bit the same as living in Syria nowadays and half your family is shot to pieces. You are suffering seriously. It takes a long time to process trauma.
Yes, sure.
But, it is not real, right? Those people are bastards. But okay, I think those are really bastards. But I know, the consolation is that all strikes back.
They themselves are deficient.
Everything strikes back. Because I have no remorse, I think it is just bastards' behavior and I can understand that very well. They must listen inwardly. Because there is a lot to heal. But when it comes to recovery, the doctors asked me what had happened to me. Then I told them the truth, just like I do now. Do you know what they did? They called out for all kinds of specialists. Psychiatrists, psychologists. Everybody had to look into my mind, because this cannot be true. You are describing a movie. The Fantasist. Yes. Then finally, because they made a lot of diagnoses, I actually found it humorous. I thought, gosh, all of them are smart and intelligent scholars, professors, all of which make diagnoses, while I am just speaking the truth but no one believes me. Then I gave permission for a few loved ones from my most inner circle, trusted relationships. I gave permission to interview them. A few weeks later, I still remember the white coats with their files, entering the room, dazed. We are sorry, Ronald. We cannot help you. Your trauma is so serious. We cannot do that. At last someone believed me. People do not know the world where I come from. Most do not.
No, which is also relatively small.
Yes. In relation to the matrix everyone lives in. It's a bit like in that movie. There were also not so many who lived outside. But they lived in reality.
The Wizard of Oz, and his tiny little friends behind the curtain.
Yes, sorry I cannot expose everything.
Yes.
I do not only consider myself. Children are very important to me, because I also received comments like, yes, you should have gone to the government. You should know how I have gone through a great deal with the government. The government does not serve us at all. And what was I supposed to say? They invited me? For what? Where is the evidence? Who would believe me at once, while others do not believe me?
There are no comments now, it ended up everywhere. Also with the authorities.
It is rather serious, because the things I am talking about are from long ago. But if I see what is going on, well, I do not want to say on a daily basis, but still very often is in the news. What is going on with little children? It is not all about child sacrifices or child abuse, donor trade, organ trafficking. It is about so much more. 17,000 children are only dying of hunger and thirst every day. Are we all made out of concrete? What is wrong with this world? I am very concerned from the heart. That is my inner driver, and that is what is going to happen. Because I notice, and that is the beautiful part, that more and more people are standing up. And they understand more and more. We are the change. We create zombies who cannot even get out of their screen. A choice must be made. The Matrix will become reality. Based on the current vampire system, we are killing the Earth. In the near future, we even have no Earth anymore to live on. The Netherlands is the darkest hole on Earth. Almost all shit originated from this country.